Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm gonna break down my P&L for you guys. So I traded 4 days this week. I traded Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, or was it Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday? I don't know. Either Wednesday or Thursday I didn't trade, or was it Monday? I don't know. One of the days I didn't trade, but yeah. So I'll break down my P&L for you. I did take a loss on Friday. So I'll go through one of my losses that I took overall. I think I was down like $3,000 on Friday. But I am up over the week. So I'll go through all those days with you guys. Obviously I can't go through every single trade I took, but I will go through the biggest trades that I took or the best plays that I took, so you guys can see really good examples of poor plays and good plays, and a mix of both. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and break down my P&L for the week. I did trade 4 days, like I said. I didn't trade on Thursday, and I had one red day on the week, which was yesterday, Friday. So I'll go through one or two trades each day for you guys. And on Monday, I'm gonna go ahead and this is Monday, so 5/11. I'm gonna go through my Netflix trade I took in the morning with you guys. Netflix was on my watch list. So for some of you that know, I post my watch list on my Twitter almost every day, the days that I trade at least. And Netflix was on my watch. I think I just put it on my watch. It didn't have a catalyst behind it, but I put it on my watch because I've been liking the way Netflix moves. I like the price action. It's really been pretty easy to read. Not a lot of fake outs, and it's been kind of on an uptrend. So really liking Netflix. All right, guys, so here's Netflix in the morning of 5/11. So usually within like I mentioned before, I don't like to trade within the first 10 to 15 minutes unless I really see a solid play. And if I see a stock run like this when Netflix did in the morning, or even dump, I like to see a pullback on low volume before I get into the stock. That's the healthiest play to take, and that's probably going to give you the highest probability setup. So here, this is actually a perfect morning play example, and I really like plays like this because it's very easy, very simple to understand. So you make sure you have your intraday level set. So the intraday level here that Netflix created a resistance at 441.08, 441.10. And you can see on the 5-minute as well, it's that same level that it bounced off of here perfectly, and it bounced on the 1-minute perfectly as well. So those are really good examples. This is a really good example of a healthy uptrend in the morning. So the stock creates a level of resistance at 441.08, and it ends up taking a pullback here. Now, this is where you're going to watch Netflix. When you see it take a pullback after a run up, you want to make sure that the pullback is on low volume. So that's how you can kind of determine whether it's a pullback or if it's going to be a reversal. You watch the volume and you watch the level 2 in time and sales to see if heavy sellers are stepping in on high volume, then it's most likely going to be a reversal. However, if you don't see high volume and you don't see those big orders on time and sales, it's most likely a pullback. So that's very healthy when the stock is on an uptrend. So now I'm watching Netflix at the 441.08 level, and my first entry on Netflix was at 10 o'clock. So right here. So this is pretty much like my go-to strategy for the people that are new to my channel. What I like to wait for when I'm entering a stock is I like to wait for one candle to break and close above the level that I'm watching. So here you go. Here's your breakout candle right here. The 10 o'clock, the 9:59 candle breaks out of the 441.08 level, and it closes above it. Now what you're waiting for is for your next candle to open above that level on high volume, and you can see that volume starts to pick up right here on this breakout candle. The 10 o'clock candle is your confirmation candle, and that is your entry candle. Volume spikes. This is where I entered Netflix at 10 o'clock, and I exited Netflix at 10:02. I exited Netflix at 10:02 on this play. I felt comfortable with the profit that I made on this trade. I knew that it was going to be a quick scalp, and Netflix didn't have a strong catalyst for me to want to hold it that much longer. Also, with the market recently, I don't hold my trades very long. I watch how much percentage profit I've made. I usually know my target profit, and I know my target entry and exit before I enter the trade. It's really important with the market right now because you can get caught in a reversal really easily. I've found that Some of my plays, I just lock in profits instead of sometimes letting the trade run. Or if I lock in profits, I get lucky because the next candle reverses. So the best thing for you to do, I know sometimes it gets hard because you're like, oh, it's going to keep running, it's going to keep running. But if you have a target profit or a target entry and exit point, it's really, really important in your trading setup. When I scalp, my target profit is 10% per scalp. That's what I'm trying to make. Obviously, sometimes it doesn't work out that way and I don't make that full 10%. Or whatever the case may be. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the price action of the stock, where your resistance and support levels are, volume on the stock, and if you see buyers are heavily stepping in or sellers heavily stepping in. So seeing times and sales and recognizing those big orders around those resistance and support levels. On this play with Netflix, I traded 10 contracts. I bought them at $6.75. So it cost me a total of $6,750, and I ended up going to $7.60, and I made a $850 profit on this play on Netflix. Which was a little bit over 10%. Now, when you're looking at this play, you can see like on the 1 minute and the 5 minute, they're both telling you kind of the same thing. So it's really important to keep the 1 minute and 5 minute time frames the same. And if you were watching fully on the 5 minute, you probably would have held it all the way to this 10:04, 10:05 candle, because this 10 o'clock candle, you can see it's a huge bullish candle on the 5 minute chart. For me, I just keep the 5 minute chart up. Recently with this market, I've been keeping it up just to confirm that the breakout is a true breakout and not a false breakout. Sometimes I don't keep the 5 minute up and it ends up burning me. So always make sure that you're looking at multiple time frames and not just looking at the 1 minute time frame. I know that's what I show you guys usually when I'm reviewing my trades, because that's where I enter and exit. But you do want to make sure that you're looking at the overall picture on the market. And on Monday, I made a total of $9,150. That was my biggest day for this week. I ended up trading a couple other stocks that day. All my breakdowns and like posts and entries and exits are on my Instagram if you guys want to check those out as well. On Tuesday, I traded a couple stocks. I posted them on my Instagram too, so all the entries and exits are there. And I'm going to go through my Nvidia play and my BA play. On Nvidia, I made a profit of about $2,250, and MBA, it was a loss, so I'll go through that as well. All right, guys, so Nvidia on the 12th of May, so this was Tuesday. Nvidia starts to dump in the morning. Now what I'm waiting for is a pullback. So you can see when it starts to dump, it creates this level of resistance, the 321.27 here. That is the level of resistance, intraday resistance, or I'm sorry, intraday support, I lied, intraday support that you want to watch here. On Nvidia, the stock creates a level of support, it's not able to break below it, and now the stock is pulling back. You can tell it's a pullback because volume is low. Obviously, I'm not able to show you time and sales on level 2, but you can tell that you can see here that the volume is low here. It's not a reversal, it's just a pullback, and the stock ends up pushing down. Another thing that's you can see here, it is a small H pattern here. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. So the H pattern is a bearish pattern. The stock ends up falling, creates kind of an upside down U, so it looks like the shape of an H, and when it breaks this bottom here, this level of support is where your entry point is, and this is very straightforward here. This 949 candle. Let me zoom in here for you guys. This 949 candle is your breakout candle. It breaks below the 321.27 level, and your entry candle is the 950 candle. That is the candle that I entered on. I exited at 952. Very, very similar play to Netflix. Like I said, it's just buying puts instead of calls because Nvidia was on a downtrend, but very similar play. These plays in the morning are very straightforward, simple plays that you can capitalize on. You just have to be paying attention to the stock and not rush your play. Wait for a pullback, wait for a good entry on the break of the resistance or support intraday. They're very easy plays to catch, and these are honestly the plays that I've been trying to catch recently because with stocks where I understand their price action and I'm familiar with, it's really easy to catch if they have a catalyst behind it in the morning. On this play with Nvidia, I bought 30 contracts. They were priced at $6.65 and they went to $7.40. So it cost me $19,950 and I ended up making $2,250. So almost a 15% profit on this trade with Nvidia. All right. So let's move on to BA for that day. So here's BA on the 12th. Like I said, I took a loss here on BA, and you can see clearly as you're just looking at the stock on the 1 minute and 5 minute charts that the stock was on a downtrend. Excuse me, the stock was on a clear downtrend here. And I actually want to show you an example of that morning reversal that I was talking about. So you can see here right in the morning, BA spikes in the morning. So usually what I'm looking for is for it to pull back so that it can enter if it's going to be on an uptrend. BA ends up dumping after that spike, so that's why you want to wait the first 10 to 15 minutes so you can see if the trend that the stock is on is going to be a continuous trend upwards or downwards. You can see that it wasn't a strong trend. BA ends up dumping, and you can see the volume is high here. So pay attention to your volume, pay attention to your level 2, and the order sizes that are going in through on time and sales. But you can see clearly with the difference between the pullback that we just saw on low volume, where it took a dip in volume, and then the reversal here where volume stays pretty consistent throughout that reversal. I entered BA at 10:51. So right here. So you see BA create a level of support here. So that is a level of support that you're watching intraday for a scalp intraday right here. I entered at 10:51. Now the problem that I made, the mistake that I made here is that I pretty much entered in the pullback. I thought that this candle was the pullback and I really wasn't paying attention. So I ended up entering at 10:51. I should have, if I was going to play this stock, I should have entered at 10:48. And you can see that the 10:48 candle breaks your 129.59, which is the intraday level we just set. You can see that it's bouncing off this level of support. Your 10:48 candle breaks that level, closes below it. Your 10:49 candle is your entry candle, and I should have entered at 10:49 and exited at probably 10:52. But like I said, no one's perfect in the market. Looking at it right now is so simple, but from what I'm seeing right now, I got FOMO. I entered way too late. The stock was on a downtrend and I was missing it. So I just entered very late. You can see the stock ended up taking a pullback. So looking at this, a lot of people would be like, oh, why didn't you hold? Why didn't you hold? The stock was on a downtrend. So 90% of my plays are scalps. So when I enter a trade, I'm entering it to play it as a scalp, not a day trade, not a swing trade. That is how you know the difference between if you're disciplined and if you're not disciplined. If I would have changed this to a day trade, say BA ended up breaking this 129.59 level and reverse upwards, I would have taken a bigger loss than if I just accepted the loss that I took, knew that I entered I had a bad entry point. I didn't pay attention to where the stock was pulling back each time that it pushed down, and the play was already over. So plays like this, a lot of people are like, oh, you should have held, you should have held, you should have held. But if I would have held this play and it went, you can see that it did end up dumping again. I would have taken that mindset to every single play that reverses on me. And eventually you're going to take a bigger loss instead of following your plan and sticking to this trading setup that you have. On Wednesday, I traded just Tesla. I took 3 trades and all 3 of them were with Tesla. And I ended up being green $1,000. So I made $1,000 on the day on Wednesday. I took the first trade that I took with Tesla. I got caught in this first reversal right here. I just entered too late. It just wasn't the best trade, honestly. The previous support was really low compared to where the stock ended up pushing. So that's the first trade that I took and I ended up taking a loss because I did size up heavily on it. Then the second trade that I took, I ended up making that loss back. So this is when your mindset comes into play, when psychology comes into play. I took a $6,700 loss in one play in about 2 minutes. And I could have let that loss deter me for the rest of the day. I could have been like, let it get to me. If you let that loss get to you, you're not going to be able to make it back through the rest of the day. You're not going to be able to make it back through the rest of the week. You're going to hold on to that loss and you're going to be like, oh my God, I just took this big ass loss. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You're going to end up taking another loss. Second play that I took on Tesla was at 11:30 and I exited at 11:38. So let's take a look at what was going on then. So here's the 1 minute on 5:13. Zoom in here. And like I said, you can see that let's actually zoom back out. You can see that the stock was on a healthy downtrend here. All these pullbacks prove that it's a healthy downtrend. And when you're watching this stock, every area of support here is a potential entry area. So when you're watching the stock, these are your levels of support that you want to set. Intraday levels of support. Let's take a look at what was going on when I entered Tesla here at 11:30. So here, right here, now this is another mistake that I made. I entered Tesla too early. So this could have actually gone bad for me as well. And another thing I want to mention before I think I mentioned it, I didn't have a watch list and I wasn't planning on trading today. This is why I made so many mistakes. So this is your breakout candle here. It did end up breaking the 799.45 level. It just didn't end up closing below that level. Now that was my first mistake. Usually I like to see the candle close below the level or above the level and the next candle to open below. I entered on the 11:30 candle. It didn't open below the 799.45 candle, but it did open on high volume and was pushing. So I assumed that it was going to continue to push. And that was the first mistake that I made. You don't assume anything in the market. Anything could potentially happen and you need to go with what you know. So got faked out here. The difference between this play, so I did hold that, the first play that I took, I did hold it a lot longer than I should have. Same thing with this play. I ended up holding it. So I ended up holding Tesla through this consolidation period. To be completely honest with you guys, I held it because my gut told me to hold it. Now, that's not the best way to trade, and I'm showing you guys mistakes that I've been making in this market so you guys can see that you're not alone. It's not easy. Like if you're trading in this market and you know you're profitable some days, you're taking loss, it's okay. It's a very difficult market to read. It's hard to understand what stocks are going to do, and there's just so much news that's constantly coming out throughout the day that you just can't keep up with where the market sentiment is at. So yes, I did make a mistake here and I did end up holding it. I was comfortable with holding it unless it broke about probably this previous, this 804 level here was like the level of resistance, kind of when it was consolidating throughout this consolidation period here. And it ended up going how I wanted to go. I exited at 11:38, so this green candle down here. I held through this consolidation period. A better entry, like I said, would have been 797. This is your breakout candle, closes below the 799.45 level, and the next candle opens below. So this would have been a better play. I got lucky, like I said, that it didn't reverse on me. On this play, I bought 20 contracts with Tesla at $17, and it ended up costing me $34,000. I made a profit of $6,800, so 20% profit on this play, and ended up making up my losses from previous. And then I took another play on Tesla later in the day as well, and it helped me bring up the profit on the day to $1,000. So like I said, I didn't trade on Thursday, so this is Friday, the 15th, and this is Nvidia. And just looking at this chart makes me want to throw up because I can't believe I missed this entire play because I took so many losses on so many trades. But it's okay. It happens. All right, so the first play that I took on Nvidia, I did make a profit on it, so I'm going to go through that one first here. I entered Nvidia at 10.06 and I exited at 10.08 with a profit of $600. So let's take a look at what it was doing. Nvidia had a catalyst. It was upgraded on Friday, or the price target increase was, there was a price target increase on it on Friday, and it was on my watch list. In the morning, the market was a little choppy. It started off really slow, not a lot going on, and there was a lot of reversals there's a lot of reversals happening. So it was, so in the morning, the market was a little bit choppy on Friday. There wasn't really many strong runs, and there wasn't a lot of individual catalysts for stocks on my watch list. The only catalyst that I found was Nvidia's price target increase. And on Friday, Trump spoke at around 12. So I think when he stated that the vaccine was for COVID was going to be released soon, the market ended up pumping later in the day, in the afternoon. So my first trade on Nvidia was 10:06 to 10:08. So let's take a look at what was going on here. So it's pretty simple, straightforward play again. So this is the morning here on Nvidia at 5:15. I'm going to actually move this over a little bit so you can see exactly in the morning. So you can see here, this is all pre-market. Created a pre-market low here of 312.40. And in the open, it created a level of resistance here at 319.52. And it was a level of resistance twice. So I also really like this trade a lot because the stock ended up creating a level of resistance here in the morning. Perfect. Now what I'm waiting for is, because Nvidia did have a price target increase, I am looking for Nvidia to push up. Usually when it has a price target increase, it does pump through the day. So that was it was kind of biased because I did think that Nvidia was going to push through the day. That's why it was on my watch list. But in the morning, the market was choppy, so it was a little hard to read. However, it ended up creating a level of resistance at 319.52. It tested that resistance level again at 10 o'clock. And then at 10:06, you can see here this candle volume spikes, and the 10:06 candle breaks that 319.52 level. I ended up entering at 10:06 instead of waiting to the 10:07 candle. Like I said, the bias got to me, and I entered a tad early on this trade. I should have waited for the 10:07 candle. That is a solid play right there for you guys. I didn't, and I also got shaken out of Nvidia. I got out at 10:08 instead of holding it all the way through. I wasn't watching it on the 5-minute at all. And if you look at the 5-minute here, this is your 10:05 to 10:10 candle. You would have probably held it all the way through. There was no reason for me to let go of this trade until about 10:12 here. I was kind of annoyed with myself for not holding it a little bit longer throughout the day because there was really no solid reason for me to let it go. Other than like the volume being low. There was really no reason for me to let this trade go so early. But I did get out at 10:08. I left a lot of profit on the table here that I could have made. But thankfully I did come out with a profit of $600 on this trade with Nvidia. I traded 20 contracts at $2.95, which cost me a total of $5,900. And I made a $600 profit. My second entry with Nvidia, I thought that this area was an area of consolidation, a pullback. It wasn't a strong enough pullback for me to re-enter, and I did let all of the profit that I left on the table get to my head. So I was kind of bummed out because I left so much profit on the table that I was like, okay, if it pumps again, I'll get in again. I'll just wait for a pullback. I thought this was a pullback. It wasn't a solid enough pullback for me to get in, but I did end up getting in on this green candle at 10:15. Volume was high, so I assumed I wasn't watching times and sales. I was just watching level 2, and it didn't give me an accurate enough depiction of all of the exact orders that were going through. It ended up reversing on me, and this is usually how I deal with reversal, so I'll wait till it breaks the previous level of support and resistance. So here on the 10:19 candle is when I got out. It broke that 321.27 level of support, the previous level of resistance. It broke below that, so I ended up getting out at 10:19. I got out with a loss of $1,150. I bought 25 contracts because I was sized up on this entry because I thought the stock was going to pump and I was going to make more. and instead of sizing down, I sized up, which was my first mistake. My second mistake was not watching times and sales, and my third mistake was letting the fact that I let all that profit on the table get to me. Ended up being red on Friday. I took a couple other losses. This got to me, and then I took a loss on Tesla, I believe it was. And Amazon, I think too. So I took like multiple losses on Friday. It was just a rough day because I did end up letting this affect the following trades, and I tried to make it back a lot sooner in the day instead of waiting because there's a lot of opportunity in the afternoon that I ended up missing because I was just like not mentally there anymore. So a couple like mistakes that I made throughout the week were showcased obviously from Monday through Friday. I did make a lot of mistakes this week that I can review and learn from. And even successful traders, we make mistakes. We do things that we're not supposed to do. We deter from our trading plan. We're not perfect. It may seem like we are, but we're not. And mentally, like it is really important to give yourself a break. Don't trade every day, especially if you're a newer trader. And it's really important to make sure that you give yourself a break throughout the week. I ended up being green on the week, so that's okay. And next week's a new week, so that's how you take all of your trades. That's how you take every week, every day. You take it as a new day, you take it as a new week, and you move forward, you learn from your mistakes, and that is what makes you a successful trader.
Alright guys, so that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my page. Also, don't forget to follow me on my Twitter and Instagram where I post my daily watch list, daily breakdowns, and all other types of informational stuff on there as well. So be sure to follow me there, and I'll catch you guys in next week's video.